You're watching ABC7 News at 5.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Jacqueline Matter. Scott Dennis has the night off. Topping our news tonight, the Venice City Council gave approval for a major security upgrade at the utilities water plant. The goal is to enhance the safety of drinking water. ABC7's Christopher Brantley joins us now live with more details. Good evening, Christopher.
Good evening, Jacqueline. And you know, it's not just security that's on the minds of officials, it's also preparation for the next hurricane season. The Utilities Department is spread across several buildings. Some of them date back to the 1960s.
Water plant buildings are all very old, and the roofs on several of the buildings need to be replaced.
6 months ago, the city's emergency manager, Frank Giddens, commissioned a study of all city buildings. The goal was to find the weak spots and fix them.
This study helped to determine what made it vulnerable, such as fencing, security cameras, and it wasn't just utilities. It was several departments.
We found some of the barbed wire is broken not far from some large pipes. That's exactly what the Utilities Department wants to get replaced.
We want to make sure that it's a secured facility so that we don't have people coming in from the outside, either on purpose or mistakenly, to endanger the city's water supply.
The buildings will also be getting a hurricane upgrade. With the new roofs comes strengthening wind resistance.
That'll protect the infrastructure inside so that in the event that we do need to evacuate and shut down production.
The plant was shut down for a while during Hurricane Irma last September. The hope is to avoid that in the future. The project is expected to cost around $3.7 million.
We want to ensure that our citizens are safe, our employees are safe, and we want to make sure that the infrastructures that we house these people in, especially the employees, are again safe.
Hurricane season begins June 1st, but the construction to these buildings won't be complete by then because the construction won't start until late this year or early next year. Live in Venice, Christopher Brantley, ABC7, your Suncoast News.
All right, Christopher, thank you. An update now on a story we've been following for you, the push for Manatee County EMS to change its policy after a man's body was left on the side of the road for hours. Today, county commissioners met with Sheriff Rick Wells to discuss what should be done with the remains of a patient who has died of natural causes in a public place. EMS units will now transfer the patient's remains into the ambulance and wait for instruction from the sheriff's deputy on scene. If the patient's identity is unknown or the funeral home is unable to respond quickly, the EMS crew will transport that body to the medical examiner's office. Manatee County says every effort will be made to minimize the time an ambulance is unavailable for an emergency. Brush fires are continuing to cause issues here on the Suncoast. Currently, there's 2 open brush fires in South Sarasota County. Dry conditions have put parts of Sarasota and Manatee counties at moderate or high risk for these fires over the past week. Over the past weekend, the Myakka River District responded to 5 wildfires in a 5-county area for a total of 180 acres. Florida Forest Service officials expect the rest of the season to be just as busy as last year.
But if you walk into any wooded area, you'll still see a lot of downed trees and debris that's on the ground that's not been picked up because it's in the woods. And so that just makes it a little bit more difficult for us to get in there, but it also provides more fuel on the ground for the fire to take hold of and burn.
Officials are also preparing not to see any amount of significant rain until the end of May or early June. And an emergency burning ban was also issued in Charlotte County today. The ban includes yard waste, recreational fires, and the private use of fireworks or sparklers. County officials say the ban does not include outdoor cooking, grills, or burn permits issued by the Florida Forest Service. The ban will remain in effect until the threat of wildfires no longer exists. A Charlotte County boater reported missing earlier this month has turned up safe over the weekend after being rescued in Monroe County. Benjamin Hartman set sail last month from Charlotte Harbor, planning to sail to Key West and end up in St. Augustine. Hartman's mother reported him missing after receiving an email from him that he was having boat trouble. On Sunday, Hartman was rescued from a sandbar near the Florida Everglades. Well, let's get a check on our first alert weather forecast with meteorologist Steve Newman, who's in for Bob this week. And I think what we can take away from those stories, Steve, is it is pretty windy out there these days.
Definitely windy, and you can see the flow is coming in from the east right across the state of Florida. Now, the next couple of days, we're going to see this shift slowly more to a southerly direction coming up. And, you know, that means it's going to stay warm right on through the Easter weekend. We have a little front that might bring us some showers. We'll talk about a little later on. But it's the wind that is the big factor this afternoon and creating the high fire danger. And there's no rain falling to help make the fire danger even lower. And like we just heard, we don't expect rain to start until our rainy season normally gets here in June. Well, the winds today anywhere from 15 to 20 miles per hour across the entire area. They seem to be a little weaker offshore, but right now 16 mile an hour at Minnesota and at Inglewood, 17 mile per hour at Punta Gorda. If you're heading out tonight, here's your evening planner, or staying home having a barbecue. Look at this. Temperatures staying in the 70s through the evening hours, about 69 by 10 o'clock, and then cooling off through the 60s, bottoming out around 57 or 58 toward dawn. We'll have our Easter forecast coming up in just a few minutes. Jacqueline.
Okay, thank you, Steve. Hundreds of extra students are on the Suncoast this week for spring break. As our Marla Spence tells us, local law enforcement is keeping a close watch.
Rule number 1 is always stay safe. Rule number 2 is have as much fun as possible, but be safe. So I keep both classy.
Spring break is in full effect for Sarasota and Manatee County students as teens, parents, and their kids make their way out to area beaches like Siesta Key. More Sarasota County Sheriff deputies will be out making sure everyone's safe all week long.
In addition to our uniformed patrol bureau, who is always out there, and our Siesta Key substation units, we also are going to have our mounted patrol unit out there patrolling the beaches and the parking lots.
Lieutenant Ryan Brown with the Sarasota Sheriff's Office tells us safety and enforcing the law is top priority this spring break. He says Marine units will be out in the water while traffic and DUI units will be out on the roads.
We're going to have strict enforcement and not tolerate underage drinking.
Venice police also following suit when it comes to cracking down on underage drinking. Tuesday morning, the department tweeting about an undercover alcohol buy operation to curb underage drinking this spring break. During that operation, Venice Food Store on East Venice Avenue and the 7-Eleven also on East Venice Avenue were in violation and were found selling alcohol to minors. Although there is no curfew for minors this spring break, Lieutenant Brown says certain areas will be closed to the public after a certain time.
We also have what are called green zones, and there are posted signs. And those are areas around the benches and pavilions and things like that. Those are closed to all public at 10 o'clock. The actual beach does not close at night. However, we are going to have our mounted patrol unit and our patrol units out there patrolling those beaches to make sure that they're safe.
I'm Marla Spence reporting at Siesta Key Beach for ABC7, your Suncoast News.
Marla, thank you very much. ABC7 business commentator Richard Stern joining us now, and I feel like it has been a bit of a roller coaster this week on Wall Street and in the days prior, and I see you've got some props for us once again.
Well, if you recall, yesterday I brought out the champagne, and it was still valid this morning. The Dow was up by 243 points this afternoon. Time for Pepto-Bismol. The sellers showed up. We were down by 493 points at the low of the day. So if you don't like it's kind of like the weather. Just wait until tomorrow.
Wait it
Might
out.
change, right? Exactly. Yes, another tough day on Wall Street. You may recall yesterday was an absolute grand slam home run. The Dow Jones Industrial Average was up by 670 points, and we certainly saw a follow through this morning. The Dow was up sharply, and we spent the entire morning in plus territory. But guess what? We saw some selling, and a classic example is what we saw today with Amazon. Amazon was up by $60 a share yesterday and down by $59 a share today. So take that. Let's take a look at the final numbers. There you see the Dow down by 345 points, more than 1.4%, closing at 23,857.71. That on volume of 947 million shares. The NASDAQ for the day, yesterday's big winner, today's big loser, down more than 2.9%, 212 points at 7,008.81. That on volume of 1,822 million shares. And if those two are down, so's the S&P, down 46 points, almost 1.75% at 2,612.62. Apple Incorporated, which was then known as Apple Computer, got started in 1976 by selling computers to schools. Well, it looks like now things have gone full circle. Apple today announced that it is offering a new iPad for $299 specifically geared to students. The new iPad will be compatible with all the new versions of Apple's word processing and presentation products, and there will be free iCloud storage. For those of you who are not students but just might want to buy it, you can as well, but your price will be $329. You see there's a $30 discount for students. And if you're interested in buying one, guess what? You can order it as early as today, or if you actually want to see one in person, it will be in Apple stores before the end of this week.
All right, I'm sure that'll come in handy for many students in
Absolutely.
the future. And we've been talking a lot about General Electric. What news do you have for us on
and
that?
how poorly it's been doing,
Yeah.
right? Well, on this terrible day, shares of General Electric were up by 4% on rumors, unconfirmed, that Warren Buffett and Berkshire Hathaway are buying the stock aggressively.
Interesting.
So we'll see.
All right, well, thank you so much, Richard.
You're very welcome.
Still to come on your Suncoast News, a former Saints cheerleader fired because of a social media post, why she's now accusing the organization of gender discrimination. And meteorologist Steve Newman will be back with your first alert forecast. Plus, Michigan State University under fire once again, this time regarding a former dean. Details when we come back.
The ABC7 Stock Report is sponsored by Sunset Cadillac.
My name is Stephen Jaffe. The law firm's name is Farmer Jaffe. One of the beautiful things about Julius is he's always smiling, and it becomes infectious. The fact that Julius has a disability has absolutely nothing to do with the quality of work that he's done. Just a great person you want on your staff.
Hi, this is Dan Marino. When your business recruits people with disabilities, everybody wins. To find out how, go to disabilitieswork.employflorida.com.
It's California Closet's Lighting and Accessories Sales Event. Save up to $1,000 now through April 30th. Call 1-800-CAL-CLOSETS for your free design consultation or visit us online at californiaclosets.com.
Hi, I'm Chef Bob. Watch Aprons in the Kitchen every Wednesday morning on ABC7, where we'll be serving up the most awesome dishes. Then stop by your neighborhood Publix, pick up the recipe card and all the ingredients.
Come experience the rugged capability and luxurious comfort of a new Ram truck and get big savings during Ram Truck Month at Sunset Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Sarasota. Shop the area's largest selection of new Ram trucks. Get the all-new redesigned 2018 Ram Quad Cab for as little as $23,999. Or save big and get $10,000 off a new Ram Bighorn Crew Cab. Better prices, bigger selection. Go to Sunset Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Sarasota today.
Florida Studio Theater presents Blue Suede Shoes, celebrating the birth of rock and roll. From the father of rock and roll, Chuck Berry, to the king himself, Elvis Presley, this musical review features such great hits as Rock Around the Clock, Mustang Sally, Johnny Be Good, and of course, Blue Suede Shoes. Critics are calling Blue Suede Shoes a burst of rock history, dynamic and high voltage. Audiences are calling it phenomenal. Blue Suede Shoes has been held over by popular demand. Tickets can be purchased by calling 941-366-9000 or by visiting floridastudiotheater.org.
The Mark, Sarasota. Landmark living in the center of it all. A private oasis in the sky. Luxurious private amenities. Promenade shopping and dining. The best of downtown downstairs. Now under construction and priced from the mid-700s. This is life right where you want it. Call or visit our Discovery Sales Gallery today. The Mark, Sarasota. Presented by the Culture Group.
Army National Guard soldiers serve to give back to their country and their community. Their part-time commitment qualifies them for benefits such as health and life insurance, education benefits, and retirement and VA home loan benefits. Visit NationalGuard.com to learn more.
It's California Closet's Lighting and Accessories Sales Event. Save up to $1,000 now through April 30th. Call 1-800-CAL-CLOSETS for your free design consultation or visit us online at californiaclosets.com.
A former New Orleans Saints cheerleader now living here in Sarasota has filed a complaint with the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission against the New Orleans Saints, accusing the organization of gender discrimination. ABC7's Erica Jackson joins us now to share what she's trying to get out of that recently filed complaint. Erica?
Jacqueline Bailey Davis moved to Sarasota after she was fired by the New Orleans Saints following a post on social media. She says the entire Saint Sations cheerleading team had to follow strict guidelines, but the football players didn't have similar rules. The cheer team's handbook states cheerleaders will be terminated for socializing with the team's players. The women also have to follow stern social media guidelines, blocking all players and not posting photos semi-nude or in lingerie. Davis was fired after posting on social media a photo of herself in what she calls a black bodysuit. She says the complaint is more about just the photo, focusing on what she calls unfair rules and regulations for the women.
I want to be treated like a professional athlete, just like the professional football players are treated like professional football players. I want to be treated like a professional cheerleader.
The Saints deny treating Davis differently because of her gender and responded to the complaint stating it does not tolerate any form of discrimination. Tonight at 11, we will show you that photo that we believe or could have possibly got Davis fired and what she hopes changes because of the complaint.
Okay, thank you, Erica. Michigan State University under fire once again. This time, a former dean has been charged with multiple counts of sexual misconduct involving female students. He's also being charged with negligence in the crimes of former Dr. Larry Nassar, who is currently serving life in prison for sexually abusing more than 100 women and girls. ABC's Maggie Ruley has the latest.
William Strample in court today.
I talked to the lawyer this morning.
The former boss of convicted sexual abuser Larry Nassar has been charged on multiple counts of sexual misconduct.
Counts 3 and 4 apply to his supervision, or quite frankly, his lack of supervision of Larry Nassar.
But today's charges also accuse Strample himself of having a history of assault and harassment against female students.
Strample used his office to harass, discriminate, demean, sexually proposition, and sexually assault female students.
Among the allegations, the complaint claims a computer from Strample's MSU office contained 50 nude and semi-nude photos of what prosecutors believe are female students at MSU. The affidavit details accusations from multiple women. One alleges Strample grabbed her right buttock during a school event, later telling her, "I hold your entire future in my hand and can do whatever I want with it." Nearly every woman testifying against Nassar also brought up the name William Strample.
The response of Dean William Strample was to send an email to Larry that day and tell him, quote, "Good luck, I am on your side." And when my video testimony to the Indy Star came out graphically describing the abuse that Larry perpetrated, Dean Strample forwarded that video testimony to the MSU provost and he mocked it. He called it the cherry on the cake of his day.
If convicted, Strample faces up to 5 years in prison. Maggie Ruley, ABC News, New York.
Well, this may sound a bit unnerving. China's out-of-control space station is about to fall from the sky and expected to plunge to Earth any day now. What went up in 2011 is about to come down in a blizzard of fiery debris. The Chinese lost contact with the bus-sized space station about 2 years ago. Since then, it's been an 8.5-ton time bomb destined to crash back into Earth from its decaying orbit about 80 miles up. Much of it, however, will burn up, but not all of it, and where it lands is anyone's guess. Scientists say it's likely to land anywhere from California to New Jersey, quite a span there, and could happen during Easter weekend. So keep that in mind.
Or it could land in the water, crash in the water.
There we go.
You know, I'm not worried about it.
Yeah. Speaking of water, nice day here on the Sun Coast, other than the wind. You know, beautiful though.
Beautiful. We have such beautiful scenery here, and if you see it, will you take a picture of it? I'll tell you more about that in just a minute. Look at our Casey Key Cam. A little surf today, but all in all, not a bad day. I think the winds could have been a little stronger offshore, but they were not, so that's why we didn't see a whole lot of surf. And this is what I was telling you about. We need pictures. I only get 2 or 3 a day, so send them in to them. If you see something pretty like this, look at these are pelicans having a sunset meal at North Jetty. Thank you, Cindy Desmond, for this incredible picture. Also, I want to thank Susan Humphreys from taking this sunset picture with a telephoto lens from Terracea Bay last night. And here's the sunset at Lido Beach last night. Thanks to Barbara Weintraub for that picture. I grew up on that beach. I spent sunset almost every night in my junior high and high school year right on that stretch of beach because I lived just around the corner there. there to the right. Here is current conditions at Sarasota Memorial International Airport, 82. The dew point is 50, and I had my phone as a prop to show you what I wanted you to do. Humidity 33%, east wind at 17 miles per hour. Taking a look at the wind flowing across the state, and it's a fairly strong easterly wind flow, but over the next couple of days we're going to see the direction shift to a more southerly direction. That's the front that went through, now breaking up down over Cuba and approaching the Caribbean. And very clearly you can see the individual cumulus clouds moving into the east coast, but it's a shallower layer. The whole atmosphere is dried out across Florida, so that's why we're not seeing anything in the way of showers by radar right now, and we probably won't for the rest of the week. Next chance of rain, and it's not a great chance coming in early on Saturday. Across the Midwest, a second day of severe storms possible across Texas. This is from the Storm Prediction Center. A slight chance in West Texas and South Texas, and that threat moves eastward to Houston into Louisiana tomorrow. And right now there are no watches or warnings in effect, but they have their eyes out for these clusters of storms moving across the Red River into Oklahoma. Tomorrow could be a stormy day as well, as we saw. And there's a lot of energy in the atmosphere down there, but Dallas is 66 degrees. That's 20 degrees cooler than they were yesterday at this time, because the front has come through, but the threat remains high to the south and east. Now, our weather pattern for the next 2 days. High pressure still in control, directing that easterly wind flow, but watch what happens as the high drifts southward over the Bahamas. The winds gradually veer down to a southerly direction. Still no rain. This is our next chance of rain coming through on Saturday. It looks pretty impressive here, but by the time it gets over central Florida, it will have hardly any moisture left with it, and really no great threat of storms. Our forecast for tonight: partly cloudy skies, our low temperature 58 degrees, pretty close to normal for this time of year. East wind 5 to 10 miles per hour. And for tomorrow, a beautiful sunny day. And look for high temperatures about 81 degrees, with easterly winds becoming southerly as that shift around as we just saw on the graphic, 5 to 15. Average 78, so a little warmer than normal tomorrow. And here's your 7-day outlook, and it's one that doesn't have a lot of surprises in it. Still a little breezy off and on for the next 2 or 3 days. Temperature is close to 80 degrees. A little cooler tonight than we've seen for a couple nights, but then it bounces back up to the low to mid 60s for the rest of the week and into the weekend. That front comes through on Saturday with a 30% chance, I'll call it a slight chance, of rain or showers. Doesn't do anything to the temperatures. Look at that. And on Easter Sunday, with a hopping bunny tail there, 81 the high temperature. Near perfect weather continues right on through the early part of next week as vacation ends and people go back to school. That's our weather story, Jacqueline.
Thank you so much, Steve. I like your Easter bunny graphic. Well, now to first alert traffic. We are seeing an accident at the intersection of US 41 and Clark Road. It is causing some minor backups in both lanes around that area, which will cause some congestion for those of you who may be trying to get off of Siesta Key and head into downtown Sarasota. In health news tonight, heart disease is the #1 cause of death in the U.S. And since high cholesterol contributes to heart disease, you may need to hear this. With more, here's ABC's Serena Marshall.
Take 40,000 adults, check their blood cholesterol, and scratch your head. According to the CDC, who looked at data from the National Health and Nutrition Survey of health measurements and behaviors, even if they know their cholesterol level is too high and have been prescribed drugs to help lower them, just over half of the adults with high cholesterol are actually taking them. In general, this new study concludes adults who have a genetic history of very high cholesterol levels are more likely to have a cholesterol screening. Of the 2 forms of blood circulating cholesterol, it's low density that is dangerous for cardiovascular health. Drugs designed to lower that LDL cholesterol are in wide use, and prescription rates for them have increased over the years. But in those with the most severe forms of high cholesterol, only a third take their meds. Those at highest risk for undertreatment, younger adults, and those without enough healthcare coverage. Low cholesterol, exercise, and a healthy diet are the basics for heart health and are all things we can take action on for a longer, more healthy life. With this Medical Minute, I'm Serena Marshall, ABC News.
Flu season is winding down, but the CDC says a second wave of virus B is circulating. Last week, nearly 58% of all confirmed cases of the flu were caused by the B strain. The CDC says the B strain tends to be more severe for younger children. Experts say it is possible for those who have already been sick with the flu to fall ill once again, but with a different strain later in the season. A new state program will help seniors get the best deal for rides to the doctor. The program is called Find a Ride Florida and allows consumers to view providers, costs, and hours and then book the best ride. Transportation officials worked with the University of Florida to launch that program. For more information, go to findarideflorida.org. Coming up, a toddler has big shoes to fill at a prom, and a cat gets rescued from the top of a pole. We'll have more on those stories when we come back.
It's California Closet's lighting and accessories sales event. Save up to $1,000 now through April 30th. Call 1-800-CAL-CLOSETS for your free design consultation or visit us online at californiaclosets.com.
Car experts and customers agree there's a lot to love about a new Subaru. Subaru is Kelley Blue Book's 2017 most trusted brand, best overall brand, and lowest 5-year cost to own. And Subaru Impreza is an IIHS top safety pick for 11 years running. Lease the all-new 2018 Subaru Impreza for just $195 a month for 42 months with zero due at signing. That's right, not one penny. Get more for your money during the Subaru A Lot to Love event at Sunset Subaru in Sarasota.
So I kind of grew up all across the country. I come from 5 generations of military men. My dad is still active duty. My grandpa is retired Marines. I like going for runs with my dog. I love, taking her out to the dog beach over in Venice. There are so many things here to do on the Suncoast. My goal every day when I come into work at ABC7 is to tell your stories, give you that major local news and those details that you really care about. I'm Jacqueline Matter, and I'm here for you.
Since 1972, Sleep King has provided quality mattresses and accessories at the best discounted prices available. Top brands like Simmons, Sealy, Serta, Beautyrest, iComfort, and more. With available free delivery, free financing, and free setup and removal. For a comfortable night's sleep with same-day delivery, even if we have to carry it on our backs. Trust Sleep King of Sarasota. Buy it today, sleep on it tonight.
Tomorrow at 4 on Suncoast View.
You've been emailing and asking, and we promised it was just a vacation. I'm Stephanie Roberts. On Suncoast View, we welcome back Linda Carson after her trip across the world. She'll have pictures and no doubt some great stories to share. A local Suncoast coffee bean entrepreneur shares her story and the story on every bag of beans. Plus, the Players Center previews the musical Funny Girl and Stottlemeyer's in the Kitchen.
Tomorrow at 4 on Suncoast View.
Check out My Suncoast Dining on mysuncoast.com, your guide to the foodie lifestyle. ABC7's own Chef Judy serves up her favorite recipes, cooking tips and trends, dining blogs, step-by-step videos, and Suncoast Restaurant Guide. You'll find it all at mysuncoast.com/dining.
It's California Closet's lighting and accessories sales event. Save up to $1,000 now through April 30th. Call 1-800-CAL-CLOSETS for your free design consultation or visit us online at californiaclosets.com.
A New Orleans teen thought she was going to miss out on her prom after her boyfriend, a Marine, couldn't make it home for the event. Thankfully, she found a replacement, and the story is heartwarming. Jeremy Roth explains in today's Take a Look at This.
High school prom is a tradition no teenager should miss. So when Skylar Fontaine of New Orleans learned her Marine boyfriend Gage would not be able to come home for the event, she was crushed. But thankfully, heroes come in all sizes. Gabe's 2-year-old brother, Clay Jr., stepped up and filled in as Skylar's date. Skylar was even able to find a tiny Marine uniform for Clay Jr. to wear. The pair didn't actually go to the dance, but instead posed for pics, which have since gone viral. Skylar told People.com the adorable gesture gave her a sense that Gabe was home. A dramatic rescue unfolded in China involving a 6-year-old girl trapped between 2 walls. The little girl was playing when she slipped and fell into the gap between her home and her neighbor's, which was only 8 inches wide. Instead of using machinery, 2 firefighters squeezed into the space as far as they could and managed to reach down and gently pull her out. The rescue took only 20 minutes, and the girl was not injured. Well, a cat in Phoenix was finally rescued after being stuck on a utility pole for 3 days. After live video of the cat's sticky predicament was posted on Facebook, fire department dispatchers said their system became jammed with calls from across the country to send help for Gypsy. But before help could arrive, a neighbor decided to take matters into his own hands and rescue Gypsy himself. For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
Still to come on your Suncoast News, after Hurricane Irma, storm debris removal was a major headache for Sarasota County. What officials are doing to ensure it doesn't happen again ahead of the upcoming hurricane season. And local Congressman Tom Rooney's seat will be replaced this November, and we'll have details on who's running and what we can expect for that election.
It's California Closet's Lighting and Accessories Sales Event. Save up to $1,000 now through April 30th. Call 1-800-CAL-CLOSETS for your free design consultation or visit us online at californiaclosets.com.
Get to Sunset Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Sarasota for big savings during the spring sales event. Take a test drive and see why Jeep Grand Cherokee is the most awarded SUV of all time. Or for impressive off-road performance with a little bit of Suncoast style, shop the area's largest selection of new 2018 Jeep Wranglers. Stop by today and drive away in a new Jeep Cherokee for just $19,999. Better prices, bigger selection. Go to Sunset Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Sarasota.
Florida Studio Theater presents Blue Suede Shoes, celebrating the birth of rock and roll. From the father of rock and roll, Chuck Berry, to the king himself, Elvis Presley, this musical review features such great hits as Rock Around the Clock, Mustang Sally, Johnny Be Good, and of course, Blue Suede Shoes. Critics are calling Blue Suede Shoes a burst of rock history, dynamic and high voltage. Audiences are calling it phenomenal. Blue Suede Shoes has been held over by popular demand. Tickets can be purchased by calling 941-366-9000 or by visiting floridastudiotheater.org.
Thanks to the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, what was once impossible is happening today for thousands of patients with blood cancer.
I live.
I live. I live. I live.
I live.
She lives.
Because of the research done by the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society in the battle against blood cancer.
If you had a chance to support the research that is saving lives, what would you do?
Tomorrow at 5 on ABC7's Good Morning Suncoast.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Webb.
And I'm Ray Collins. It is Red Cross's annual Giving Day across the country.
The goal? To help people in Sarasota and Manatee counties be able to help 25,000 families. That's tomorrow on Good Morning Suncoast. John?
So we're looking at a big ridge of high pressure promising us another beautiful day, but an approaching area of low pressure brings changes.
Tomorrow at 5 on ABC7's Good Morning Suncoast. We're here for you.
Our nation's servicemen and women show great courage and leadership both on and off the battlefield. When they transition to civilian life, they can apply the skills and values they learned in the military to the workplace. That's why the Coalition to Salute America's Heroes is urging employers everywhere to be smart, bet on a vet. Hiring a veteran is also a great way to show your appreciation for them. To learn more, call 1-888-44-SALUTE.
It's California Closet's Lighting and Accessories Sales Event. Save up to $1,000 now through April 30th. Call 1-800-CAL-CLOSETS for your free design consultation or visit us online at californiaclosets.com.